Professional surf fishing with your host, Mr. Slap High Hook Jackson. Now, without any further ado, your host, Mr. Slap High Hook Jackson.
Hey there, friends and neighbors. This is your old pal, Slap High Hook Jackson, saying, you ain't living, not even a smidgen, if you ain't surf fishing. Well, you know, let's take a quick look at what's been going on this last week, and I'm sure you know. I mean, it's been nothing but windy and rainy and cold, and, oh man, the weather's been terrible, absolutely terrible. So I looked up my logs. I took a look at last year. Well, anyhow, in 2015, the weather conditions were more or less the same, but the water was a lot colder than it is now. So I'm sure when this weather breaks, I'd be out there fishing because you're going to catch fish. Anyhow, in 2014, you can see the weather conditions were more or less the same. In 2013, though, I did pretty good. I fished on 2 separate nights and caught bass at Leeds Pond. Now, you know, I use a swimming plug and a teaser this time of year. Sometimes they take the teaser, sometimes they take the swimming plug. You can see here the arrow is showing you that the bass took the swimming plug right here in this shot. It was, I don't know, about 6 or 7 inch bomber, greenish in color. Well, as you know, I'm not the only high hook out there. There are lots of high hooks. And anyhow, here's a couple of more high hooks that didn't make last week's show, so just take a look.
Crashing, I'll be on the beach and casting. I'm a high hook. When no one else is catching, I'm the only one with action. I'm a high hook. Where the land meets the sea, that's where I'll be. Anywhere there's surf, that's my home turf. I was born high on a dune, on a high tide full moon. I'm high hook.
All right, now, you know, this winter I had the chance to take a look at some of my old videos. Now, here's a spot I did back in 2012, and it's about getting a second season out of that expensive Superline. Well, just take a look.
All right, second season Superline. You know, I do like the Superlines because they don't stretch. You really feel the fish. So I had this reel that had about 300 yards of Superline at the beginning of the season. And after using it the whole time, it had about 250 yards left. So I stripped off a little bit more and loaded it onto this Penn reel. Well, everything just loaded up beautifully. Of course, the old line going on first, the new line at the end of this Penn reel. So I must have had about, 75 yards, maybe 100 yards worth of used Superline at the core. And I must have about another 150 to 200 yards of Superline that never touched the water right on top of this Penn reel. So I'm all happy with this. And I guess you could do this with just about any reel. Let's say your old spool held 250 yards of Superline, and through using it every day here and there, you lost about 25 yards from retying knots and this and that and the other thing. And you may want to cut off an additional 25 yards just to make sure you don't have any cuts or bruises on the line you got left. So that'll leave you with about 200 yards of line. Now, if your new reel holds 275 yards of line, you just need to add about 100 yards of backing before you add the old Superline right on top. And I'll tell you, it'll work like a charm. So that's how you get a second season out of your Superline. And you learned it right here on the Slap Jackson Show.
All right, now let's take a look ahead for this next week. This is April 9th to the 15th. When I look back at my logs, I look back at 2015, last year. I fished 3 times in this period. I fished on the North Shore, I fished on the South Shore, I caught nothing. On 2014, I fished twice during this period, and it was both on the North Shore, caught nothing. In 2013, what a magic year, I fished 4 times on the North Shore, the South Shore, and I caught a bass up there in Leeds Pond again. Would you believe it? So anyhow, the weather has got to improve, and when it does, those South Shore estuaries and the Western Long Island Sound is the place to be. Remember, when I see you on the beach, say hello. I'll get you on the show.
I was born high on a dune, on a high tide full moon. I'm high hook. There ain't no denying that when the fish are frying, I'm high hook. Where the land meets the sea, that's where I'll be. Anywhere there's